The Shark Deck.
Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Tonight is the White House Correspondents Dinner. Your host, Roy Wood Jr. Roy Wood Jr. told the Birmingham Times, the Correspondents Dinner is different from hosting The Daily Show because ain't nothing can prepare you for it. Previous hosts of the dinner, Seth Meyers, Cecily Strong, Jay Leno, Jimmy Kimmel, Conan O'Brien, Ray Romano, Paula Poundstone. Wood says, I take it as an honor to basically be a voice for the voters. You have to come in and swing the big stick. The difference between the Correspondents' Dinner and The Daily Show is the studio audience is not interested in laughing in D.C. I can't toss it to a break if a joke bombs. I have to live with it. Now, earlier in the week, Tucker Carlson got fired, and Hassan Minhaj tweeted, pretty sure Roy Wood Jr. is updating his remarks/roast for the White House Correspondents' Dinner now. Wood replied and wrote, updating? Man, I got to throw out the whole damn script. Roy was also on Sam Sanders' podcast, as recapped here by Vulture. Roy said, people are like, well, what are you going to say? And who are you going to go after? And I'm like, go after them, and then what? Are they going to resign the next day? Yeah, I've got a bunch of Clarence Thomas jokes, but I don't imagine I have one that'll make him resign. I could joke about Clarence Thomas getting flown around the country like an Instagram model. The whole thing could be Clarence Thomas jokes, but there's a little bit of CRT we need to get into. There's some DeSantis versus Trump we need to get into. There's some Democrats filibustering the Republicans' police reform bill. We need to get into that. That's the thing. There's questions to explore, but then you have to wonder, okay, am I here to make a point, or am I here to be funny? I'm here to be funny. Nobody in that room is my ally. I'm for the people. Comedians are for the people. Make no bones about it. I'm a black American raised in the American South, and there's certain truths about that experience that we need to change, and I'm not here to camouflage that. I wasn't hired to give a speech, but I was hired to give a little bit of truth. I'm not Dick Gregory. I don't have the ability to oscillate between humor and anger effortlessly and indignation. I don't think I possess that, but I think there's a way to talk about the black experience. I do know we'll have a conversation about reparations somewhere up in there. You think I'm going to be, as a black American, on the biggest stage in front of the most powerful people and not tell them to consider reparations? Who else will have the opportunity to have the undivided attention of lawmakers? Is he nervous? And he said, yeah, it's a challenge. I remember earlier in my career walking through Times Square profusely sweating because I had to go on David Letterman. I could do that with my eyes closed now, but this, yeah, I'll be walking through the National Mall sweating. Salon talked to Jay Pharaoh, and he said, you got to put the work in. You have to have a team. You can't do it without a team. Everybody has a team, even people you think, like Michael Jackson had a team. Prince, well, Prince was the only one who could do it by himself. Okay, he's the only one. Everybody else, they need a team. Prince was just like, I don't care. I play every instrument. I don't need anybody. And he didn't. He played 22 instruments. Then Jay said, can we talk about the time I was on Family Feud and they were asking the biggest pop stars of all time? And I said Prince, and it wasn't even on the board. Even Steve Harvey said, that don't make no sense. Everybody leave. Everybody leave. We're walking out of here. Everybody just got up and walked out. Yahoo asked Hurry Kondabolu, hey, Hurry Kondabolu, do you have a pre-show routine? And Hurry said, yes, I pace a lot. I talk to myself, especially if it's the first show of a run. Like if I'm doing a bunch of shows, the first couple are where I'm the first nervous. I'm always pacing. I'm always thinking about getting the joke order right. Remember the new jokes I added to an old joke. I don't like it when other people in the room talking about when I'm pacing. I want it to be quiet. I just want it to be in my head. I hate when the bathroom isn't in the green room. So if I have to pee, I have to be with the general public. It ruins the illusion because all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, that guy I just saw pee, he's on stage.
Hello, I am Mark Francis, host of Palace Intrigue, the podcast that delves into the daily drama of the British royal family. These short daily episodes cover the latest news and scandals involving the likes of Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Kate Middleton, King Charles, and the rest. From backroom sources to public controversies, we've got you covered. Whether you're a long-time fan or just curious about the royals, Palace Intrigue is the perfect podcast for you. So join us as we explore the lives, legacies, and dramas of the British monarchy. Subscribe now and never miss an episode of Palace Intrigue.
Parade asked Ray Romano, hey, Ray, do you think everybody loves Raymond, has received the respect it deserves? And Ray said, well, Raymond's not hipster and young and sexy. It's not Friends or Seinfeld. It's a little more of the family values thing. But I actually think people appreciate it now in a way they didn't even 5 years ago. And I'm a glass half empty guy who always finds the negative, but it holds up. Parade followed up and said, well, how can you tell if a sitcom holds up? And Ray said, look at The Honeymooners. That holds up, and it's just two couples. There's something about the acting and the writing, and it holds up through time, and even as cultures change, the basic core of the family stays the same. I'm not comparing our show to The Honeymooners, but that's basically what our show is about. Maybe that helped it stand the test of time. Will Ray do another sitcom? And Ray said, I knew I didn't want to do another traditional 4-camera sitcom. Raymond was my legacy in that genre. I was drawn to something with a little more dramatic substance to it. Maybe not an intense street drama, but I wanted to try and test myself. But having someone cast me in that proved to be difficult because when you see somebody for 9 years in a role, it's hard to see them in anything else. I ended up co-creating Men of a Certain Age. I'll jump in. Ray was really good in that. I've seen Ray in a few things that I've been like, I really like him in things. Ray said, I was on Parenthood for 3 years. People saw me again in a different role. The Sydney Comedy Festival continues on Sunday. Some of the names we might know. Daniel Kitson, we talked about him in Melbourne. Ed Gamble is also playing. Moses Storm is there, and a show called Two Hearts, New Zealand. We're pregnant, and the baby is music. Reminds me, my daughter was telling me her boyfriend was like, he made me watch some show. It was like 20 years old. It's like two guys are like Australian or New Zealand or something, and they play music. So I jump in, I go, Flight of the Conchords? She goes, yeah, I hated it. I'm watching it. I'm like, that's a dad show. Dad probably likes that. And I'm like, I do. She's like, yeah, I couldn't stand it. I'm like, you don't like the hip-hop-opotamus? She had no idea what I was talking about. The Pitch KC caught up with Brian Regan. Hey, Brian Regan, do you feel like there are different types of audiences that you encounter when you're performing? Brian said, well, what I think is interesting about an audience is that everybody thinks they're reacting like from their own individual selves. What they don't realize is they're being influenced by everyone around them. From my perspective, I try to make the audience one thing, and then I try to get this one thing laughing. I'm not naive. I know that it's a bunch of individuals, but the individuals out there think, I think this guy's funny. They don't realize that it's more like, we think this guy's funny. Audiences are like those big giant flocks of birds with like a million birds, and they're all moving around as one. It's bizarre to look at it and go, well, is that one thing, or are they all different? Angela Johnson Reyes will debut her 6th comedy special, this one called Say I Won't. It'll be on YouTube May 14th. She produced the special herself and owns it fully. It was shot at the Ryman in Nashville. Now, what I like about this article from Polestar is it gives us some hard numbers. So in case you're wondering, like, how much do comedians make, here's some actual numbers. Polestar reports, the special performances at the Ryman sold 3,800 tickets and grossed $156,194, according to Polestar's box office. Other highlights from that tour, the show in Charlotte, 2,324 tickets for $134,293. The show in Atlanta, 2,459 tickets, $127,346. San Jose, 4,980 tickets, grossed $251,000 and change. Now that's gross, so who knows what happens after everybody takes their cut and expenses and accounting and, I don't know, making you pay for the potato chips and the green room. I don't know how it all works, but those are some numbers. Pretty interesting, right? Oh, as an aside, happy 90th birthday to Willie Nelson. Yeah, my mom loves Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, 90 years old. One way you could celebrate his birthday, check out the podcast, The Best Song Ever This Week. It's called The Best Song Ever This Week. Host Scott Frampton does a quick dive into a song and what makes it special. And there are 2 Willie Nelson-themed episodes you'll find near the top of the feed. There's one newer episode, but the 2 below it are both about Willie Nelson. Happy birthday, Willie. I've seen Willie live 3-4 times. Fantastic. That's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows, and I'll see you tomorrow. Who doesn't like vacations? Do you need some inspiration for your next road trip? Are you excited to get out there and explore the world again? Hi, I'm Johnny Mac. My podcast is called Travel is Back. Travel is Back is travel for regular people. We hop in the car, we fly coach, we use our miles, we eat at normal places, we stay at normal places. So what I do is I hop in the car, I grab my portable recorder, and I go somewhere. Season 3 kicks off with a road trip to Key West. You can check out the back catalog. There are popular episodes covering Chicago, Nashville, Vancouver, Seattle, a whole bunch more. Travel is Back, road trips for regular people. Follow the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your shows. These are quick, these are casual, and it's for regular people like you. Travel is Back.